On Diddy Combs' investigation, new surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigator.
In the world of boxing and entertainment, some heat and controversy seem to go hand in hand. But when a name like Mike Tyson gets involved, things take on a whole new level of intensity. Tyson recently unleashed his anger on none other than music mogul Diddy.
Hopefully Puffy helped me out, you know.
That's the first I've heard about that. That's great though. That's great.
I believe so.
With Diddy facing serious charges, including racketeering, human trafficking, and more, Tyson didn't hold back his disgust and anger. And if you know Mike Tyson, you know that when he's mad, the whole world takes notice, which Jake Paul has Diddy is one of the biggest entertainment figures in hip-hop. But his actions have led him to jail. On a quiet Tuesday morning, Diddy was picked up from a Manhattan hotel, charged with a series of horrific crimes. The charges, which include trafficking and racketeering, have shaken fans and the industry as a whole. Diddy, now 54 years old, has pleaded not guilty to all accusations, and his legal team stands firm, calling him an innocent man. But with the magnitude of these claims, even the most loyal fans are left in disbelief. Following his arrest, Diddy was denied bail not once but twice. The first time a judge ruled he was too much of a flight risk, given the severity of the crimes he's accused of. The second denial came just days later, when his appeal was swiftly rejected, as Diddy sits in a jail cell awaiting trial. The weight of these accusations continues to grow. The world is watching, wondering what else might come to music light. But here is where Mike Tyson gets in. At the same time, a viral clip from 1998 involving Diddy and Mike Tyson has resurfaced, adding fuel to the already blazing fire. In the clip, Tyson and Diddy are seen sitting together on the Keenan Ivory Wayans show. The footage, which at the time seemed like a harmless exchange between two stars, has taken on a new life given the charges Diddy now faces. Fans are rewatching the clip with fresh eyes, and many are seeing it as more than just a simple interaction. In the video, Tyson is seen holding Diddy's hand, examining a flashy ring on the rapper's finger, or as it appears, pushing his hand away from touching him. Yep, you heard that right. Diddy was trying to sexually touch Mike Tyson on live TV.
It truly is about the Benjamin, as we see.
Oh yes, he's glittering.
It truly is about the Benjamin.
Yeah. Well, now when we come back, we're gonna talk more with Puffy, and if you want to hang out, more than welcome to stick around, my brother. All right, we'll be right back with more right after this.
The two share a few laughs, but given the recent allegations against Diddy, people are now wondering if Tyson had an inkling of the dark side that would later emerge. Some viewers even pointed out how awkward the exchange seemed, speculating whether Tyson was uncomfortable in the presence of someone who would later face such serious accusations. Now, in light of Diddy's arrest, Mike Tyson has come forward with some harsh words, and let's just say he isn't holding back. In a recent interview with TMZ, Tyson was asked about the situation, and he wasted no time in making his feelings crystal clear that in a freak, Tyson snapped, "He's lucky he's going to jail before I land my fists on music." Him, Tyson, known for his ferocity both in and out of the ring, didn't mince words when it came to expressing his disgust. When asked if he knew all about Diddy during the hand-holding moment, Tyson continued to say that he wasn't aware. "I didn't know about all that if I knew he would be dead me." He continued, his voice thick with anger. "He deserves more than prison." While the charges against Diddy had already sparked plenty of outrage, hearing someone as legendary and feared as Mike Tyson speak out only added more weight to the situation. Tyson's reaction wasn't just the kind of comment you hear from an average person on the street. This was Iron Mike, the baddest man on the planet, who seemed genuinely ready to take justice into his own hands if given the chance.
You get the power?
Yeah.
What is it that you're doing there? You're really shifting your weight, right?
It's balanced.
Yeah. You know what I noticed about your punches?
The allegations against Diddy are horrific, and Tyson's reaction seems to mirror the collective anger of a society that's sick of seeing powerful figures get away with abuse. Tyson, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, gave voice to the frustration many are feeling. People should not just be put in prison for that, they deserve even more punishment. Prison is soft for that, Tyson said. The timing of Tyson's comments couldn't have been more explosive, as Diddy's legal team scrambles to defend him, and as more details about the charges come to light, Tyson's harsh words have only intensified the spotlight on the case. Of course, when Mike Tyson speaks, the world listens, and it wasn't long before others in the entertainment world ch, and one of those voices was none other than YouTube sensation and professional boxer Jake Paul.
Nice, come on, punching. Yeah.
Known for his wild antics and his knack for stirring the pot, Paul jumped into the conversation with a bit of advice for Diddy. In an Instagram live video, Paul said, "Better listen to Mike, you made him real mad. Diddy, trust me, you don't want that smoke. Don't make Tyson that mad when it's me meeting him." In the ring, for those familiar with Paul, this was classic Jake capitalizing on a hot topic with a quick joke and a smirk. But beneath Paul's playful tone was a serious message. Mike Tyson is not a man to be taken lightly, and even Jake Paul, who's been known to go toe-to-toe with some serious fighters, understands that Tyson's rage, as Paul pointed out, is nothing to laugh at as much as Jake Paul wants to show that Mike. Tyson is a figure to be feared. It seems that he himself does not understand that, and day out, he's continuing to receive warnings on fighting Mike. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. That's the one. The recent one came from his own mother. Jake Paul is no stranger to big fights, but his upcoming match against the legendary Mike Tyson is bringing a whole new level of anxiety, not just for him, but for his family as well. On November 15th in Texas, Paul will step into the ring with Tyson, a man known for his terrifying power and brutal knockouts. While the fight has captured the imagination of fans worldwide, it has also sparked concern for Paul's loved ones, especially his mother, Pam.
Growing up, who was your favorite boxer?
Mike Tyson.
Mike, right?
Fuck yeah. Why'd you ask?
Because I'm going to be fighting him
No way.
in July
Dude,
on Netflix.
are you fucking kidding me, Dad?
Yeah.
He's gonna be the hardest hitting motherfucker you ever fought.
I know.
Dude, holy fuck, I'm gonna be freaking out.
Yeah.
Paul is understandably worried about her son going up against one of the most feared boxers of all time. Tyson, who is 58 years old, has been showing off his skills in short training clips, looking shockingly sharp and powerful for his age. Those videos have done little to calm Pam's nerves, and Jake admits his mother has been terrified since she saw them. Despite her concerns, Pam will be there on fight night supporting her son from ringside, along with Jake's girlfriend, Yuda.
They need a bigger room.
No, it was okay, but you don't know what you got in store, baby. You got to face the God of War. And get ready, baby.
Jake Paul, who is now 27, talked about his mom's fears in a recent interview. They will definitely be there, he said, referring to his mom and girlfriend. But my mom is very scared, actually. She keeps on asking me if I'm ready, asking my team if I'm ready, and she's not liking this music. One Pam's concerns are understandable given who Jake is facing. Mike Tyson, even at 58, is still a force to be reckoned with. In the Instagram videos, Pam has been watching Tyson look scary and big. As Jake put it, his Instagram videos look crazy. Jake added, explaining why his mom is so anxious. She's watching all of that and just not liking it for Jake. However, this fight is a massive opportunity. Facing off against Tyson is something he sees as an honor. Despite the huge age difference and the criticism surrounding the bout, some fans and critics have questioned why a fight between a 27-year-old social media star and a 58-year-old boxing legend is even happening. The age gap alone has raised eyebrows, with many wondering if it's a fair contest. Tyson, after all, is 3 decades older than Paul, and some feel that a fight like this could be dangerous. But Jake Paul has been quick to defend the matchup. When asked about the criticism, he didn't hold back. I don't get it all, Jake said, but I also don't understand people in general. Like, people are dumber than a box of rocks. He went on to explain that for him, stepping into the ring with a legend like Tyson is a huge honor, something most people could never understand. I don't expect them to understand fighting or the honor to step into the ring with a legend. Paul said these people probably don't even know what honor is, or respect, or passion, or doing legendaries. Would you fight Mike Tyson again? No, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self that doesn't feel fair. You know, prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. I'm not boxer, right? Perhaps if I was a boxer and I was heavier, maybe I can make a bunch of stories. The truth is, I'm a kickboxer and it's his rule set, and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that.
Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair, you know? Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. I'm not a boxer, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps if I was a boxer and I was heavier, maybe I can make a bunch of stories. But the truth is, I'm a kickboxer and it's his rule set, and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight.
So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight. Paul has always had a way of shrugging off criticism, and this fight is no different. He believes that most of the people who are complaining about the fight don't understand the significance of stepping into the ring with someone like Tyson. It's not just about the age difference or Tyson's past. For Paul, it's about proving himself against one of the greatest fighters in history. One factor that has helped elevate the excitement around the fight is Netflix's involvement. The streaming giant is producing a documentary about the event, which has added a new layer of legitimacy and spectacle to the fight, and Tyson himself has insisted that the fight be a professional bout, meaning it will count on both fighters' records. The fact that Netflix is involved, the fact that Mike Tyson wants it to be a pro fight. If Uncle Mike is down, then so am I, Jake said confidently. The fight was originally scheduled for July 20th, but Tyson had to pull out after suffering from a stomach ulcer. The delay only added more fuel to the fire, with critics using the Postponement to further question the legitimacy of the match, but Paul brushed off the delay and used it as an opportunity to train harder with the new date set for November 15th. The hype has only continued to build as the fight draws closer. Paul has been balancing his own training with other responsibilities, including his work with the Professional Fighters League. Paul recently hosted a press conference ahead of MMA star Francis Ngannou's fight against Renan Ferreira. During the event, Ngannou, who has been coached by Tyson in the past, weighed in on Paul's chances against the boxing icon. Ngannou, 37, didn't mince words when asked who he thought would win. He backed his mentor Tyson to beat. The breaks off Paul for Paul. Ngannou's prediction didn't come as a surprise. He admitted that fighting Tyson is not going to be easy and that the first few rounds are going to be incredibly tough. It's not going to be an easy fight, Paul said. I think the first 4 rounds are going to be very difficult. Paul knows that Tyson still has the power to knock someone out with a single punch. Even at 58 years old, Tyson's reputation as the baddest man on the planet was earned through years of devastating knockouts, and Paul is well aware of the danger that comes with stepping into the ring with him. If I can weather the storm of Mike Tyson, the baddest man, hardest puncher on the planet, then I believe I can pull ahead in the later rounds and be able to stop him. Actually, Paul said, despite his confidence, Paul admitted that Ngannou isn't wrong to warn him about Tyson's power. Francis is not wrong. Paul said, I oftentimes get scared of that one punch, and I have to be alert the whole time. For Paul, this fight is about more than just proving himself in the ring. It's about stepping up to a challenge that few would dare to take. Tyson may be older, but he's still dangerous, and Paul knows that he's not taking this fight lightly, even though he's confident that he can win if he sticks to his game plan. As for Pam, Paul, she'll be ringside on November 15th, watching anxiously as her son takes on one of the most feared men in boxing history. Her fears are understandable, especially after watching Tyson's training videos, but she'll be there just like she has been for all of Jake's fights, offering her support and hoping that her son can weather the storm and come out on top. All this comes after Jake Paul's camp fired back at boxing promoter Eddie Hearn after he criticized the fight between him and Tyson, calling it a freak show. Eddie Hearn has been vocal in his disapproval of the fight. He's called it a travesty and said it would be a disaster for boxing if Paul managed to knock out Tyson. According to Hearn, true boxing fans don't want to see this event take place, and he has framed the match as nothing more than a spectacle designed for entertainment rather than a legitimate sporting event. He's labeled it as a fight that undermines the integrity of boxing, adding that it's not the kind of contest that should be taken seriously by fans or anyone involved in the sport. However, Paul's camp was quick to respond, particularly his manager Nikisa Badarian, who runs Paul's promotional company, Most Valuable Promotions. Badarian didn't hold back in defending the fight and firing back at Hearn's criticism. In an Instagram post, Badarian called out Hearn for what he sees as hypocrisy, especially given that one of Hearn's own fighters, Katie Taylor, is set to fight on the undercard of the Paul vs. Tyson event. According to Badarian, Taylor, who is one of the most celebrated female boxers in the world, is expected to receive the biggest payday of her career from this fight. Badarian pointed out that while Hearn publicly condemns the event, he is still deeply involved in it, and his fighter is benefiting from the very same fight that Hearn has disparaged. Keep getting sent these articles on Eddie Hearn taking shots at Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Badarian wrote how if you're involved, you have no empathy for the sport, how he'd never be involved in a million years. Eddie, you're involved, man, involved in a big way. Kai Taylor, your most celebrated fighter, is the co-main event, and it's her biggest payday, as you know. Badarian remarks shine a spotlight on the apparent contradictions in Hearn's position. On one hand, Hearn is calling the Paul-Tyson fight a freak show and questioning its legitimacy. On the other hand, one of his top fighters is part of the same event, benefiting financially from the exposure and payday that comes with fighting on such a high-profile card. For Badarian, this contradiction is proof that his criticism is less about the integrity of boxing and more about positioning himself in the public eye. But Badarian didn't stop there. He also pointed to Hearn's past comments about other fights that Hearn had initially criticized but later became involved in. Specifically, Badarian brought up Hearn's previous comments about the crossover fight between Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion, and Tyson Fury. When that fight was first announced, Hearn was dismissive of it, calling it a clown show, questioning why such a fight was even happening. However, Badarian noted that when the opportunity arose for Hearn to be involved in a fight between Ngannou and Anthony Joshua, one of Hearn's marquee fighters, Hearn was quick to jump on board. It's funny, Badarian said in his post, I remember when Francis Ngannou was fighting Tyson Fury, you were out there saying, this is a circus, this is a clown show, this shouldn't be happening. But as soon as the opportunity came for you to be involved with Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, you were running so fast to sign that contract and make a talk about, oh, this is a real fight. Oh, it's such a big deal. This back and forth has added even more drama to an already controversial fight. Hearn, known for his sharp tongue and straightforward opinions, was quick to respond to Badarian accusations. In a statement, Hearn argued that the circumstances surrounding the Ngannou-Joshua fight were different from Paul versus Tyson. Hearn pointed out that Ngannou was an active fighter at the time of his bout with Fury, having recently transitioned from MMA to boxing. Hearn said that Ngannou's win over Fury gave him the credibility needed to be considered a legitimate opponent for a top-level boxer like Joshua. In contrast, Hearn argued Tyson is long past his prime and his last competitive fight was decades ago. There's a bit of a big difference, Hearn said. Francis was an active UFC fighter who basically beat in my opinion, Tyson Fury, that win gave him all the credibility he needed. Mike is in his 50s and 20 years ago, he was shot as a fighter. Hearn's point is that Nanu, despite coming from a different combat sport, was still an active and relevant fighter when he stepped into the boxing ring, whereas Tyson at 58 is far removed from his days of dominance in the sport. For Hearn, the Paul versus Tyson's fight is more about spectacle than sport, and he sees it as a mismatch that caters more to casual fans than serious boxing enthusiasts.
My favourite fighters of all time, but it's a big event, you know. But I find it quite sad that someone that's achieved as much as Mike Tyson is fighting at obviously 58, something like that, and will, could lose to Jake Paul, But
for Jake Paul, though, this fight represents another step in his unconventional boxing career. He has been involved in several high-profile fights, many of which have drawn similar criticism for being more about entertainment than actual competition. Despite the criticism, Paul has continued to build his brand in the boxing world, and the fight with Tyson is the latest and arguably biggest chapter in his journey. For Paul, this fight is about more than just the spectacle. It's about proving himself against a boxing legend, even if that legend is decades removed from his prime. And for Tyson, it's a chance to return to the ring and show that even at 58, he still has the power and skill that made him one of the most feared fighters in history. What's your take? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.